Hey there, welcome back to the channel. This is Kedar from How To Guys. Today's episode is one you don't want to miss, because we're going deep into the Social Security payment schedule for June 2025. But let me be clear right from the start. This isn't your usual. Here's the dates, thank you, goodbye type of video. We're going to break this down with the kind of details and financial reality that no one else is really talking about. Because I know the truth. These payments aren't just numbers on a calendar, they're survival, they're groceries, they're keeping the lights on, they're how you take care of your family. And more importantly, when those payments come early, or show up late, it can shake your entire world for the month. So what I'm about to share with you could be the key to staying one step ahead. We're going to unpack the dates, yes, but also, we're going to talk about what happens between those dates, the feelings, the challenges, and maybe, even a little bit of hope. Let's start with a big one, SSI payments for June 2025. Now usually, SSI hits your account on the first of the month like clockwork. But this time? That clock is ticking a little differently. Why? Because June 1st lands on a Sunday, and that, my friends, changes everything. The Social Security Administration doesn't do weekend payments, so instead of waiting until Monday, they're moving your payment up, and here's the part that gets people talking. You'll actually get your June payment on Friday, May 30th, 2025. That's right, an early deposit. Now I want you to pause and really think about what that means. It feels like a blessing, right? Like a little surprise gift before the weekend. But here's the financial truth. This isn't a bonus. This is a trap if you're not careful. Because what happens when you get money early? You spend it early. You cover that overdue electric bill. You grab some groceries. Maybe even splurge on takeout for once. But if you're not careful, June will show up, and your bank account will already be whispering, empty. I want you to imagine it like this. You're drinking next month's water while you're still in this month's desert. That might quench your thirst today, but what will you drink tomorrow? That's why I'm urging you, not just as a content creator, but as someone who's walked this tightrope too, label that May 30th deposit in your mind and your budget as your June payment. Because otherwise, by the time the 10th or 15th rolls around, you'll be looking for a lifeline that isn't coming. Now, speaking of early in the month, let's talk about another key group. Those of you who started receiving Social Security before May 1997. Your payments coming on Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. You know, I always find this group interesting, because most people don't realize that if you started receiving benefits that long ago, you're on a completely different payment schedule, and in a way, that's kind of a hidden advantage. When the rest of the system gets shaken up, weekends, holidays, delays, this early group still gets paid like clockwork. No birthday calculation, no second or third Wednesday nonsense. Just early, predictable support. And in a world where everything from gas prices to your grocery bill is unpredictable, that kind of consistency is gold. But let me ask you this, what do you do with that early payment? Do you budget it down to the penny? Or do you find yourself juggling late fees and overdraft notices before the next check comes in? I ask because the payment dates are only part of the story. The bigger part is what happens after the deposit clears. Here's the mindset shift I want to plant. Don't treat your check like a windfall. Treat it like a tool, a weapon in your financial arsenal. Every dollar has a job. Whether that job is covering rent, buying prescriptions, or helping out your grandchild. You've got to tell your money where to go, before your bills do it for you. Now let's jump to Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th, this is your payday. Now hang on a second, before you skip ahead thinking, yeah, that's me. I want to slow you down, because this mid-month payment group? Y'all are in a unique position. You get your check not too early, not too late. It's almost the Goldilocks zone of Social Security timing. But even that can be deceiving. You get paid just when rent and utility bills might be hitting their late cycles. And if you've already burned through your savings or your early SSI from May 30th, this can feel like the lifeline that just barely pulls you out of the quicksand. So let me throw a practical question your way. How much of this check is left by the 20th of the month? If you're like most people I talk to, the answer is, not much. And if that's you, then it's time to consider something most folks never talk about: the power of a micro-budget. What's that? It's budgeting not by the month, but by the week. Think about it. Divide your payment into 4 parts. Use envelopes, use a notepad, use your bank app, whatever works for you, but give yourself permission to say, "This is all I can spend this week." You'd be amazed how something so small can stretch something so limited. Alright, moving on. If your birthday falls between the 11th and the 20th, your deposit will arrive on Wednesday, June 18th. Now we're deep into June, and for a lot of people, this is where the month gets heavy. Why? Because the bills don't stop coming. The fridge doesn't magically refill, and if you're on medication, those prescription refills can't wait. Here's something I've seen way too often. By the 3rd week of the month, people start playing the float game. You know what I'm talking about: shuffling small balances between credit cards, delaying payments just long enough to avoid a fee, or borrowing a bit from a friend or family member with the promise to pay it back when the check hits. I've been there. That's not laziness, it's survival. But let me challenge you for a moment. What if we planned for the 3rd week, instead of dreading it? What if we created a Week 3 cushion? I'm talking just $20 or $30 set aside from your early check, hidden in an envelope, or even a prepaid card with no access until the 18th. It sounds small, but that cushion might be the difference between panic and peace. Now, last but not least, if your birthday falls between the 21st and 31st, your check arrives on Wednesday, June 25th, 2025. Now this group? You have it the hardest in terms of timing. Let's be honest, you're waiting the entire month just to get paid, and that delay creates a real budgeting challenge. Because while you're still waiting for your check, the bills are piling up like dominoes. But there's another emotional truth here too. This long wait can create a kind of financial anxiety that builds as the month drags on. You check your account, hoping for an early deposit. You reread the calendar. You listen to rumors in Facebook groups, thinking maybe there's a stimulus check or a surprise bump in benefits. And most of the time, it's just silence. But here's the thing, that long wait? It doesn't make you weak, it makes you resilient. Because you've learned to stretch a dollar in ways that most people can't even imagine. You've learned how to say no, how to hustle, how to ask for help when needed. And while we're on the topic of help, keep your eye on what's coming later this year. There's a little-known fact that in November 2025, SSI recipients are going to get 2 payments. Why? Because December 1st falls on a weekend, just like June does. So that December SSI check will come at the end of November. Now I know what you're thinking, 2 checks in 1 month? That sounds like the answer to all my problems. But be careful, because what feels like a blessing can quickly become a budgeting curse if you don't set that money aside. We'll talk more about how to prepare for double payment months as we get closer, but I want to plant that seed now, because preparation is everything. Let's wrap this up with a quick recap. May 30th, SSI for June arrives early. June 3rd, Social Security for those on it since before May 1997. June 11th, birthdays 1st through 10th. June 18th, birthdays 11th through 20th. June 25th, birthdays 21st through 31st. Each one of these dates is more than just a number, it's a financial checkpoint. And how you move between those checkpoints. That's where your power lies. If you found value in this breakdown, if even one thing here gave you clarity, helped you feel seen, or made you think differently about your money, then I hope you'll like this video, share it with someone who's struggling, and subscribe to this channel. Because this isn't just information, it's your lifeline. Until next time, stay smart, stay strong, and stay prepared. We'll get through this. 1 deposit, 1 week, 1 day at a time.